We are the sexagenarian sages.
And we're here to bust the myths of sexuality.
And this week, we're joined by our Kinky Fairy Godmother, our friend Julia. Julia, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's always a blast. Hey everybody, I am Julia, the Kinky Fairy Godmother, and I love working with people who are kind of maybe kinky or quite a bit kinky in order to just unleash sexual creativity and have lots and lots of fun. So I'm happy to be here with you for this episode, which is about
Safe word. What the heck is a safe word?
Yeah.
So, safe words are common in the kink community, and they are very useful outside. And honestly, I think they're useful outside of sex to have safe words. What do you have to say about safe words?
Well, we have found them to be very useful in our play. We'll talk about that a little bit later. It also, you know, when you're pushing edges, and you often are in kink, it's great knowing when or what to do when you go over an edge. Because once you go beyond that edge, you may need to have things stop. And having a safe word makes it possible for that to occur.
And there can be different levels of safe words. Julia, would you like to go into that a little bit?
Sure, yeah. So a safe word can be as simple as a word that you agree upon beforehand, like honeyflower, where it just means, hey, when I say honeyflower, that means stop what you're doing and check in and attend to me because there's something I need to handle. And another thing could be like, what if you're playing together and there's a reason where you can't actually articulate a word? It could be something you define, like we said, like honeyflower. It could be like or a yellow, like, you know, just do a quick check-in. It could be red, meaning like I'm done and need to be taken care of. But if you can't articulate something at all, there are still options. You could, for example, tap out if you're able to make gestures. Like this is common to many people in martial arts. Like, you know, like maybe suppose I've got something in my mouth, like I'm holding my phone. Tap out, tap out. Time for me to pause. And Belinda, I think you had a great example of kind of a dead man's switch. So you want to
This is actually my belly dance scarf. So this is something that if somebody was hanging on to it and they weren't able to speak either because they're gagged or because they go nonverbal, all they have to do is open their hand.
Drop it to the floor.
And I don't know if that came across on the video, the sound, but it was something certainly you heard.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's both the visual cue and the audio cue there. So that's helpful when somebody goes nonverbal for whatever reason.
And then if I were playing with you, I would just know, okay, notice if Belinda drops the scarf, that means safe word, check in.
Yes,
Exactly. Yep.
let's talk about what the job of a safe word is. Julia, would you like to give us your take on what a safe word does for us?
Absolutely, yeah. And this is especially relevant to like my own personal take. So for me, and in general, I believe, when we are being sexual or having some sort of exciting thing happen, sometimes we go to a place that's outside of our normal consciousness. Like, or something like that, or just outside of our normal social engagement rules. Because like if you run into somebody at the grocery store, there are normal social engagement rules that you're all probably going to follow. If you're out for a night with some friends or with your partner and, you know, oh, you want some popcorn for the movie? Like, no thanks, I'm good tonight. Or yeah, well, actually, I would love some. Those are normal social engagement rules, but we all learn to navigate when we were children. But when we are in a sexual situation, a kinky situation, and we may be outside of normal consciousness, it can be exceptionally hard and it can take us out of the moment if we have to try to be like, okay, I'm out of normal consciousness, I'm out of this normal social situation, so now I have to try and come and use my words when I'm having a signal in my body that something is too much, something's not quite right. That's a lot of cognitive effort to have to be like, okay, now I'm going to come down, try to use my words, try to figure out how to say, ahem, I want to say something that's outside of the pleasure that we're sharing right now together. And this is what I need. It's a lot of cognitive effort, a lot of difficulty to actually get that out. And it can also be a bit confusing for your partner if you need to say that, because maybe you're like, from their perspective, maybe you're still in this consciousness. Maybe you're trying to take the play someplace else. So what that means is when you have a safe word, you and your partner both know, okay, I'm in this expansive state, but maybe like my back is really itchy and it's giving me a cramp. Then I could say honey flower, and I don't have to like do so much work to leave that state. And so it's a more gentle and clear transition to be like, oh, what's going on? You need something? I'd be like, yeah, my back is cramping. I need to change positions. And then either it can change positions and then like get going again, or maybe change positions. No, my back is hurting. I gotta be done for right now. So just to summarize that, basically, that safe word lets us be very clear. Are we still in our fantasy land? Are we still in our expansive state here, going and moving and flowing and having a glorious time? Or is it time to be out of fantasy land so we can have an outside fantasy conversation about a body need, an emotional need, or whatever else it is? Like, oh, you know, we're running out of time. We need to run, for example. How about
So it really helps with that transition.
Yeah.
Cool.
How about for you two?
And to me, safe word is exactly what it says. It's to create safety. So, you know, maybe you're doing something that's a little bit edgy for you and you don't know how far you want to go. Maybe I'm trying spanking for the first time. And I think I'm going to like it, but I'm not sure. So having that safe word in there gives me the opportunity to try something, knowing that it isn't going to go any further than I want it to go.
Love that.
Cool.
And then there are some of us who just push edges and push edges and push edges.
You know, sometimes you can go too far, and you need to have that safe word to be able to say, I've exceeded the boundary of pleasure. I've gone to a place now where I need to have you stop. And as you've already mentioned, it's a clear way of being able to do that.
Now, how about some examples where safe words might have been helpful?
Oh, I have one of those. So this, like you said, it doesn't even have to be about sex. This is not sex related. And this is a place in my life where a safe word would have made things easier. So this is about produce. This is a story about how my husband and I have a differing idea of just how fresh produce needs to be before we're comfortable eating it. I'm a little more comfortable eating things that are a little older. So we were on a camping trip once, and we were bringing a cauliflower to cook for dinner. And the cauliflower was like a little old, and to me it was like, oh, we better use it before it gets bad. And so we get there, and it's nighttime, and we're preparing the food, chopping the vegetables. And my husband, who has a very dry sense of humor, and sometimes it's hard to tell when he's joking and he's not, was like, Julia, that cauliflower looks pretty gross. Are you sure it's not bad? And I was like, you're so funny. I think it's good. What do you think? And he was like, oh, I know you think anything's good. And I was like, you joker, isn't that funny? So we chop up the vegetables, we cook the dinner, we take a taste, and it's like, oh, the cauliflower actually is bad. And I was like, oh no, the cauliflower is bad. And my husband was like, that's what I was trying to tell you. You wouldn't listen. And I truly and genuinely thought he was joking and teasing me, but he wasn't. And so that is a place where if we had had some kind of safe word where maybe he would have been like, Julia, honey flower, the cauliflower is actually bad. I actually don't want to eat it. That would have helped me understand, oh, this isn't a hilarious joke that's like a running gag that we're always talking about.
It's almost like a signal that, yeah, you have to take me seriously.
Exactly. Like no, like not the fun and games. This is actually real. So yeah, that's my story. How about you?
So I actually have an example from before we really started working on our sexuality. I'm a breast cancer survivor. The breast cancer put me into early menopause, and intercourse became painful for me. And in those early days, I was not very good about speaking up when I was having pain. Instead, I was kind of enduring it. And yes, we had there were times when I told him stop, and he stopped. That was fine. But stop can be kind of a harsh word under certain circumstances. And I think it would have been helpful to have a safe word back then, like yellow, saying, okay, we need to stop and see what's going on, versus just playing, stop, you're hurting me. You see how that could be harsh?
Yes.
And it did come across harsh at times.
Yes.
So that's a time when it would have been helpful to have understood safe words.
Yeah, that's so tender.
And how about sometimes when we have used safe words, they've been helpful?
Oh gosh. Well, I love safe words, so I'd love to share an example. So once upon a time, I was doing some humiliation play with a new friend. So this new friend was very kink experienced, and so we had actually practiced safe words before we even started to play at all, which was great. So they were confident that I knew how to use a safe word. I knew that they would listen to and understand my safe word. Very nice, very good preparation. So I was like, oh, will you humiliate me a little bit? Because sometimes I like kinky humiliation. And so they started to humiliate me by saying like, oh, you dress so badly. Like, what are you even wearing? And I was like, oh, this is fun. This is silly. And then they're like, you're not even wearing a bra with that shirt. And I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, that actually is a little bit raw for me. So I said, yellow. And then they waited for me and I was like, I think red. I think I'm done with this scene now. That was great and just got to a place of like a little too intense. I'm ready to be done. And the minute I said yellow, they were like attentive to me. And then the minute I said red, they were just giving me exactly the aftercare that I'd asked for. They hugged me and they said, you did a great job. I like the way you dress in real life. You're awesome. That was really fun. And we just hugged it out and snuggled a little bit. And I felt wonderful about the whole thing. So that is my example when it's coming from me. And then when I have been sort of doing something for other people, when I hear other people give me a safe word, I just got to say, I really love it, because every time that happens, like, I feel like I know how to win. I know what to do. I know to make an immediate transition without being confused about what they really need. And I can immediately be like, I've got you. Here's my loving touch. Here's my grounding hand. Here's a glass of water for you. I've got you.
Cool.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, mine is a little more physical, not so much psychological. It was during a training where I was learning to be a sexological body worker. And what it involved was prostate massage. The person that was performing the prostate massage on me was learning how to use their fingers in a way that would make the technique work well. And it was okay to get started. I could feel the pressure. I could give her a green that things were going fine. And as she increased pressure, it finally got to a point where there was pain. And then I would let her know, hold it, wait, red, this is as far as we can go. It was a point of education for her to learn how much pressure she could actually apply, in my case. And for me, it was an educational point of knowing how far I could accept pressure before it got to be too much. So it was great for learning about your body.
Would we like to do a couple of demos?
Demo time.
You had a demo in mind.
Well, for this, I will pull out some of my special gear. I have a pair of Wolverine claws, if you can see them. I like the way they sound. I don't know if you can hear that. And of course, they're very sharp. I keep them clean, clean them before the demo. Would you present your arm?
Yes, after we talk about safe words.
Would we like to talk about safe words?
Let's use green for everything's fine, yellow for a check-in, and red for stop.
Okay.
Green,
Yeah.
green,
I will now begin to stroke up your arm.
yellow. So just pause. Slightly less pressure, please. Okay, let's try it again.
Now move up slowly.
That's green,
Okay.
green, and let's take it back down to the bottom and try again.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Red.
Okay. What can I do for you at this point?
I need a little bit of massage. Especially there where you ended, yep. There we go.
So I'll give her a little bit of aftercare.
And it didn't actually break the skin. No, that's fine. So I think we're okay with that. If it had broken the skin, I would want some alcohol on it. But it didn't actually break the skin.
It left a small mark that is a light one that will disappear.
Yep. I don't think the mark's going to be visible.
I love that.
And then we also wanted to do a psychological demo.
Awesome.
And as many of you may know, I have some problems with vertigo. So Julia's going to create a scene for me that may trigger my vertigo. And are we okay with using green, yellow, and red again?
That sounds great to me. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So as Belinda said, we have talked before about this. So there's a lot of pleasure in imagining being on a merry-go-round or some kind of amusement park ride. But that might be fun, but that might also trigger vertigo. So what we're going to do is go through a visualization together, and Belinda is going to use safe words to let me know when she's like, nope, nope, done. All right. So I invite you to take a breath, and if you like, you can close your eyes. And imagine that you're at the most fun amusement park in the world. There are bright colors around you, there's lots of excitement in the air, and you are stepping into one of those vehicles that you go on rides into. Maybe it's like a roller coaster. And all around you, you've got the track that you're about to go on. It's twisty, it's turny, it's up and it's down. And your little vehicle starts to go forward. Chug it, chug it, chug it, chug it. You can feel the tracks clicking. You can feel it starting to tilt to the side. And you can feel it start to pick up speed. And you get some G-forces as you go around a curve, down and up, and then there's another curve. Thank you. How you doing, Belinda? What would you
like? I need to just settle for a moment because you actually moved me from a merry-go-round to a roller coaster. They're just a bit more triggering.
Got you. Right. Do you need some grounding, or do you want to be done?
Actually, I want a nice, gentle slide into the stop. How's that?
Nice, you got it. So let yourself take a breath as your ride vehicle is being very smooth and slowing down. You can feel a cool, steady wind, right, rustling your hair very gently on either side, completely equal. And you're going forward. There's some gentle green, cool water up ahead of you, and you are slowing down, coming into a nice horizontal station, very slow, and you are coming to a gentle stop. And as you are stopping,
And having that slow, gentle stop was grounding. And you got my blankie.
A little something to put on, keep you nice and cozy here. A little advocate.
and is there anything else you would like, Belinda?
I'll have a piece of chocolate afterwards,
Nice.
after we wrap up.
Thank you for taking good care of yourself there.
Oh, absolutely. Chocolate is definitely one of my aftercare things.
I love it.
Okay.
Okay, we've had a little exploration of what safe words are, how to use them, what they're good for, some demonstrations. Thanks. We appreciate it, Julia.
Thank you very much for helping us with this.
Thank you so much for having me. What a joy. Mwah.
And if people want to get in touch with you, they're welcome to get in touch. We can work with them on safe words too, but if they want to get in touch with you specifically, what's the best way to do that?
Best way to reach me is to email me at BigJoyCoaching@gmail.com.
Okay, we will put that in the description below. And of course, as usual, our contact information is in the description below.
Yep. So click that notification bell and subscribe to us so you get, whenever we come up, you'll get notified. And thank you very much for joining us. And thank you, Julia.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Julia, and we look forward to the next time we have you on.
I can't wait.
Wonderful. All righty.